Before you sleep in any hotel, ask yourself one question: do you really know who owns it? He was just a man trying to feed his family. Came to town for a job interview, booked a cheap hotel, called his wife, smiled, slept peacefully, but he never made it to that interview. He never came back home. Because that hotel was run by a widow, and she was a killer. At the edge of Lakeside Town, just before a narrow, quiet road led into the bushy path, there stood a small hotel painted brown and cream. It had only 10 rooms. Nobody ever called it beautiful. It was basic, cheap, and quiet. People only lodged there because it was affordable, especially those who didn't plan to stay long. It was called Sunlight Guest House. The owner was a woman called Mama Grace, a widow in her early 60s. Her hair was always tied in black scarves, and she wore large, dull gowns that made her look harmless. But there was nothing harmless about her. Nobody in Lakeside Town really knew who she was or where she came from. People only whispered that her husband had died mysteriously years ago, and since then, she had run the hotel alone with her son Kenny. Kenny was in his early 30s. He looked calm in public, soft-spoken, always smiling, but anyone who crossed his path in private would see his true face. He was as evil and cold as his mother, maybe worse. They had a secret, a dark, bloody secret. The hotel was a slaughterhouse. Not every guest was a victim. Only the unlucky ones, those who were alone, had no family nearby, or were desperate enough to lodge in such a cheap place. They were chosen carefully, lured, watched, and when the time was right, sacrificed. The blood fed the spirits Mama Grace served. The pieces were used for rituals, wealth, protection, long life. Some parts were buried. Some were sold. Others were taken far away in the back of a van by Kenny. No trace. No story. They thought they were too clever to be caught. Until one day, a stranger comes to town. Michael James was a man of hope. He had a small family, a beautiful wife, Linda, and 2 lovely kids, Sammy and Tina. They lived in a small 2-bedroom apartment in a crowded city. Things weren't perfect, but there was love in their home. The kind of love money can't buy. Michael was a struggling father, working odd jobs and chasing interviews. When he finally got a message inviting him for a job interview in Lakeside Town, he was overjoyed. That job could change everything. He told Linda. She prayed with him. She packed his small bag and put food inside. Their kids hugged him tightly before he left. "Daddy, bring us meat pie," little Tina shouted. Michael laughed. "I'll bring you meat pie and chicken if I get the job." It was late evening when Michael arrived in Lakeside. His friend, Tony, who also got invited to the same interview, had already booked a room at a decent hotel in the center of town. But Michael, always trying to save money, found a cheaper option, Sunlight Guest House. He entered the guest house. The lights were dim. The air was heavy. A quiet boy at the front desk gave him a key and pointed him to room 4. Inside, Michael settled down. He took a quick bath, wore a clean shirt, and sat on the bed with his phone. Michael video called his wife. "Sweetheart," he smiled. "I'm here." "Thank God," Linda smiled back, her kids waving in the background. "How was the journey?" "Stressful, but I'm okay. The hotel is small, but I'll manage." He turned the camera around, showing her the room. "Look, the bed is fine. See the menu too. They even sell rice and pepper soup." Linda laughed. "Just sleep well and do well tomorrow. I'm so proud of you." "I love you," Michael said. "I love you too," she replied. "Good night." That would be the last time she ever saw her husband. It was around 1 a.m. when room 4 opened slowly with a master key. Michael didn't wake up immediately. But when he did, it was because of the sharp pain in his ribs. Someone had kicked him hard. He opened his eyes to see 4 masked men, one of them holding a machete. Another held a camera. Kenny stood in the corner, grinning like a demon. Michael screamed. They beat him hard, fast, and without mercy. They broke his jaw so he wouldn't scream. They tied his hands and legs. Mama Grace came in wearing red wrappers, chanting under her breath. Her eyes rolled. She sprinkled dark powder on his face. Then Kenny raised the blade. And just like that, Michael was gone. His body was cut into parts, wrapped in black nylons, and packed into a big box. Kenny carried it to the hotel's back gate where a van was already waiting. He drove off into the night. By morning there was nothing left in room 4. His name was wiped from the guest record. The sect was cleared. The bed was made. The blood was cleaned. The room looked like no one had ever slept there. Mama Grace gathered her staff, 3 of them, 2 cleaners and the young boy at the front desk. She made them kneel. Then she brought out a small calabash. "Swear you saw nothing," she said. "Swear by your blood." They swore. Out of fear, she told them if they ever spoke, Ethel, the spirit of the hotel, would drag them to hell. They believed her. Morning came. Linda woke up and called her children. They knelt and prayed. Then she picked her phone and typed a message to her husband. "Good morning, beloved. I hope you had an amazing night. I wish you success in your interview today. I pray everything works out in your favor. I love you and can't wait to see you. Kisses." She smiled as she sent it. Then she dressed the children, took them to school, and opened her small second-hand clothes shop. But time passed quickly. By 2 p.m., she had not heard from Michael. She tried calling him. The line didn't connect. "Switched off," the voice said. She tried again, and again. Panic started to rise. She called his friend, Tony. "Did you see Michael at the interview?" she asked. Tony sounded surprised. "No, he didn't come. I was worried too. I called him this morning, but his line didn't go through." Linda's heart dropped. "But he was there," she whispered. "He showed me the room. He showed me the menu. Sunlight Guest House." She searched for the hotel online and found the number. A receptionist picked. "Good afternoon," Linda said. "Please, my husband, Michael James, lodged in your hotel yesterday." "I'm sorry, Ma," the receptionist said quickly. "We don't have any guest by that name." "But that's not possible. He showed me the room on video call." "Even your menu, he showed me the menu." "I'm sorry, Ma. No such guest. Goodbye." Linda tried again. This time, Mama Grace picked the call herself. "Madam, I don't know who your husband is," she said calmly. "Maybe you're mistaking the hotel name. We don't have any guest like that." She dropped the phone again. Linda froze. Something wasn't right. Her husband would never lie to her. He was there. She saw it. Something terrible had happened. She put on her slippers and took a bus to the neighboring town. Immediately she got there, she marched to the police station. "Officer, I want to report a missing person." "My husband. I think something bad has happened. And I think it has to do with a place called Sunlight Guest House."